A ruthless terrorist organization determined to rule the world.
Welcome back to the Titanium Hangar. This is Mike. Today I want to talk to you about the FansHobby Thunder. It's their take on a G.I. Joe classified scale and pretty retro looking Cobra Fang. And before Hasbro got theirs out, I'm sure that's making some noise, so I'm going to kill it. But before Hasbro got theirs out to the market, Hasbro hasn't even announced one. We don't even know what year it would come if it did. So it's really cool that we're getting this. There's a couple of different options that we're going to take a look at here with this. We're going to see if it fits both classified and if it fits ultimates, which seems to be dead in the water from Super 7, but I still have them and like them. But I did get the Show Z Storm. I have a link down below where you can get yours while it's still in stock and TH and support the reviewer. But let's take a look at this Fang coming up. Here's the box, and surprise, 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 it looks like all the other boxes that they put out with this series. To show you all the stuff. I was shocked that it had a motorized propeller. I didn't read that. I guess I should read more about what's going on with this stuff. Simple box. Getting it right out of the box, there is assembly required on this guy. Let's get it down just a bit here. And one of the things you have to do is you're going to have to connect the wiring. What I like to do whenever I use these is I make sure that the batteries are in, then I connect the wiring and check that the lights are lighting up. So everything's good, because once you clip this together, it's hard to get it apart. Possibly could break it to get it apart once it's clipped together. So that's one of those things. And then this whole rotor assembly, and it is hexagonal. And so what happens is it just kind of sits in place and the motor turns. It doesn't clip in place, it just sits in place and the motor turns. Then you clip these on and then attach the ball joints here so that it does some movement. So you get movement with it. And then you just set the assembly in there until it just kind of falls into place. And then it'll work. Then the other thing is we connect these on the bottom. These just kind of slide in. There's 3 little slots to slide these in, and then we clip this in place, which I don't think I have that one in just right. And then these missiles slide into place, which it's a little tricky to you kind of get them both positioned with these tabs. Gotta I feel like everything's in on screen until it's not. Okay, these little tabs here slide in and get them both in at the same time, and try to hide the tab in there. So they lock in really well. It's actually challenging to get in and out, and then so is the whole assembly. But once you get them on, it stays pretty good. We connect this front piece here, and it's just 3 little pieces of plastic that plug into 3 holes, which I thought was weird the way they did it, but I mean it's weird, but it is what they did. So assembly wise, I think that's about it. I mean, you plug in this bomb in the bottom that just literally plugs in. That's pretty much everything you need for assembly. Now you do have some batteries here, and the compartment actually came open on its own for me. Slide this out to put these AA's in. You need the AA's to spin the rotors, and then you put those in with the positive side towards the spring. I think I'm explaining everything without having to actually do it on camera. I'm glad I didn't do it on camera, because it would have made this video a little bit longer. So now, with all that, let's get into features. One of the features on this guy is the canopy, which it's nice inclusion, but I don't really care. I'll be throwing this back in the box. It's gonna live in the box, because to me, as ridiculous as it is that there's a helicopter with no canopy, this is a Fang, and I'm good with that. Now, before we go much further, because we're going to put figures in and stuff, let's just see how the inside looks and get the right angle, because the propellers, heck, you don't even need to, you can just pull the propellers off to look. So inside here, we have light up instrument panel. It's painted and it looks nice. You have this moving yoke that works. You've got this, and I'm sure this has to do with the altitude. And this is for the steering. I don't know. I've never flown a helicopter. I never will fly in a helicopter. I'll probably never even fly in a plane anymore, you know. our overseers don't want us to be flying in planes anyway, so I guess we should just abide by that, right? And then there's that. There's detail right here. There's detail and detail right there. And then check this out. You pull this off, and you get the infamous red ones. On the vintage one, there are just so many issues with these breaking. And so now I got this. I don't even know what this goes to. So now I got to figure out where that goes to. I'm sure it's in the instructions and I just didn't see it. That's probably something real simple. And which one goes where? This one would go on to here. I'm definitely going to do the red. Red for retro. Ha ha. Red, make it retro. Make it retro. But now I'm bugged by what this is. So we'll be digging at the instructions in just a second. And put this on. It's real easy. Swap. If you want it all black, you can have it all black. If you want it to look like they're missing, like if that's what your vintage one looks like anyway, then oh yeah, I'm missing those. So that would work. Now we've got an actual Fang, and it's retro styled Fang, and yeah, I think it looks pretty good. That's big. According to the handy dandy little instructions here, this little piece is the cherry. Literally, it is the cherry on top. So I don't know how I missed that first go around, but also we can show if you care about stickers, you can sticker it up. I do not actually. I like it like this, but others might want to sticker theirs up, but I won't be stickering it up. So there it goes. That's the full assembly process, and I'll put these other parts back in the box. Let's go right to what I care about. Does an Ultimates figure fit? And fits perfectly fine, no problem at all, which will tell you that classified figures will fit. Classified figures might even look small in this, but there's a reason for that. The canopy. I haven't tested the canopy on them just yet, but this is how it looks with Cobra Commander in there, and I think it looks fine. I think it looks really good. He can, if you put the right like gripping hand on there, he could grip the yoke. My pose for him is good, just for the display, not for sitting in a Fang and get his teeth on this thing. But let's see what it looks like with Destro in there now. See, cape and everything, and yeah, I'm not much for wired capes. Probably someone's gonna say you completely ruined that wired cape, Mike. It's ruined forever. Is it? Did I really run the wire cape? I don't know. I already had him in there, so I'm just going to leave him in the position that I had him sitting, and he sat fine for me. And unlike Cobra Commander, he'll be able to grip his yoke nice and tight there and handle his business. And still somehow he's going to be able to pilot this with his left hand and shoot with his right. All right, come on, get your hand around that thing. There it goes. And then here he is shooting as he's flying. Definitely is not going to get his aviation license this way. I mean, is anyone in Cobra licensed to fly? Is Wild Weasel technically licensed to fly? I don't know. Nobody knows. Somebody knows. It's G.I. Joe. Somebody's going to know. But there we go. That looks good. Fits fine. Works great. Now we're going to obviously see question of the day. How about the canopy? And then boom. Canopy. Plenty of space with canopy. What about Cobra Commander with a canopy? Coco with a canopy. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that dude in there. Look how he fits really well. It looks bright sometimes in editing, but with this darkness, I don't know if you can see him that well in there, but he fits fine. Fits fine. This does attract dust. Before we do comparisons, let's look at the rest of the features here. Obviously, this button does the lights, as you can see, and we have light here, here, under here, and back here, and then this flashing light in the back. This is longer than I think. Yeah, it's funny too, because I've had several of these vehicles, and I still feel like every time I open it, wow, it's big. As if I didn't just flip that up there, and there's the blades, the rotors spinning, which you can adjust them to make them flat, You can adjust them like this. I think you're supposed to use this mechanism to adjust everything. Get it sit in there right. Make these flat. Flatten these out. Boom. That's a nice feature. I don't know that people would be using any of these lights and stuff. It's really just going to be sitting in a display chilling, but someone somewhere's probably going to use it for something. And then back here, we've got this red spinner. It's a stabilizing rotor. Man, there's been a lot of helicopter stuffs going on lately, and a lot of people making sure I know correct terminology. It's rotor, Mike. Rotor blades. My dog does not come in here, but yet dog hair's in here. All right, so this it's kind of a ball jointed gun. So, you know, just like with the original. And this red is painted. It's not a sticker decal. I didn't do any sticker decals to it. So everything on here is already painted and tamper graphed. And then the feature, we've already shown it, but we'll show it again because we're in feature section in this bomb. Yeah, looks pretty good. Everything seems to work. Wonder if there's something else more for this. Like, could this have something to do with maybe a flight stand in the future or something I don't know about? These two ports that look like they would connect to something. It's a possibility. Also, this here also looks like, I didn't see instructions, which I didn't use the instructions for anything but assembly, so I didn't really care. But you could tie a string to that and suspend it in the air. So that's, to me, I think that's what they're setting that up for, and that's awesome. Obviously, you won't be able to use the rotors, the motor function, but this will work. Anyway, there it is, pretty nice. Now time for my favorite part of a review. It's when you get all the stuff set up for a comparison. And it's comparison time. Today on comparison time, we're going to look at the original G.I. Joe ARAH era version, the 3.75 inch one, and compare it. And look at this. This does compare quite nicely as a pretty retro yet modernized. So the seat kind of curves down, and this is just one straight line. That's a big difference. There's a lot more bulk up here than there is right there. And as you look at it, this does feel more like something you'd see in the real world. Obviously, even though we don't see this in the real world, but when you think about this design, it was kind of ridiculous, and yeah. Kind of a ridiculous design. Mine's probably not in the greatest shape. I've got like 3, 4, 5 of them, but I gotta do some work to all of them. So that's how you get them cheap, because there's something wrong. The vintage one, there's so many breakage points on them, but this does match up pretty close to the vintage one. And I don't know if the light's catching it just right, but yeah, different yet similar, yet pretty much what you'd expect for maybe Hasbro to do something similar to this. I'm really curious what Hasbro does now with this, and why have they not even mentioned it or showed it or shown it or anything like that. Yeah, we can see the size of it next to this one here. And yeah, they've done good work so far. I don't know why I'm shocked at all how big this is, because we saw what they did with the Skyhawk in the first release, and this is not a whole lot different in size and scale. In fact, it feels like pretty much the same vehicle in a lot of ways, in a lot of respects, only slightly different variation. In fact, the more I look at it, it looks like they might have even just copied this whole section. Looks exactly the same. This was the plan all along, wasn't it? To copy enough of this. That's interesting. I mean, so much else is different, but so much is still the same. Fascinating. Just fascinating. That's just any part you don't have to recast or make new tooling for. That's pretty cool. Here it is next to the Oi Striker. I guess I should get the lights to not glare so much, but that's another one that they made, and it's a pretty good size, and yeah, that looks pretty good. All in all, I would have to say, I think they've done a good job on this line. This set of vehicles, for about $130 each, not really that bad. And Hasbro's probably would be a little bit cheaper when they put theirs out, but probably not gonna have the electronics and stuff. Which would I have rather had it cheaper, all this stuff cheaper and no electronics? Yes, but would everybody agree with me? Probably not. Now there are peg holes for feet here, back here where Cobra Commander's standing, which they're not compatible with the Ultimates, but they're compatible with these other ones. Still, you can make things work, help stabilize like a Cobra Commander on here or something. And with that, yeah, you can get 4 more figures standing on this, and you can do some scenes. And I remember in the show, I just feel like there were times in the show where they jumped on this and flew away. But I know for a fact, as a kid, like we played with them like that because we had the 2 in the front there. So yeah, that was a thing. That was a play feature back in the day. But now it's a display feature. I would think it would make more sense to maybe just have the 2 on the back part so that you could still see the figure real well and you could see somebody riding on there. And Cobra Commander's really good with the cape because it looks like they're actually flying, and his cape would not be draped, it would be flying behind him. But anyhow, there it is. Another feature, a lot of fun. This is my look at the FansHobby Una Thunder. Una Thunder. One man's thunder is another man's helicopter. And yeah, it's got some great features. You can put the canopy on it that I will throw in a box and never use again. You can turn on the motor. You can do all that kind of stuff. I'm not exactly sure how annoying that's going to be on camera, which is why I'm keeping it to a minimal. I didn't really want this video to be too long, so I'm going to wrap it up. And I do like it. I think it's a great vehicle. It's not exactly retro 1-to-1 100%. It is a bit stylized, and there is some part reuse with Skyhawk. But I think it's a Shozi store. I'll have a link down below where you can get yours. And Hasbro hasn't made one, and this is really going to scratch the itch for anyone that wants a Fang. If you want to get your teeth into one of these, go over to Shozi. Use TH in the Sports Reviewer to help the channel out. Like and subscribe. Let me know what you think about this. Plenty of Hanger out.